Okay, let's dive in. Be honest now. Have you ever felt that little flicker of insecurity about your taste?
Oh, definitely.
Like, is the music, I listen to the right music,
Mhm.
Do my film choices make me seem, I don't know, cultured?
Yeah, that pressure. We've all felt it, haven't we?
Hmm. This sense that there's some kind of like external scoreboard for taste.
Absolutely. It's a really common feeling, that anxiety about whether our taste, measures up. But what if that whole idea is, well, upside down?
That's pretty much the core idea we're exploring in this deep dive. It's based on source material that calls itself a feel-think exploration of subjectivity.
Feel think, I like that.
Yeah, and it challenges this whole idea of external good taste. It basically says, look, having taste is just having subjectivity. Simple as that.
Right, because you inherently experience the world from your own unique viewpoint. You are the center of your own sensory and cognitive universe, right?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So the source suggests maybe when we talk about good taste, we should really be talking about like good subjectivity.
And this isn't just some abstract philosophical thing either. The source connects it right back to the texture of our daily lives.
How so?
Well, your subjectivity is what guides all those countless tiny choices, isn't it? The clothes you pick out in the morning,
The friends you click with?
the art or entertainment you actually seek out, maybe the stand-up comedian you find genuinely insightful, like the source mentions Neil Brennan or Atsuko Okatsuka.
Or Robbie Hoffman? Yeah, it's all driven by that internal sense.
What's really interesting there is how this good subjectivity idea plays out. The source suggests it's not necessarily about picking what's, universally popular or acclaimed.
Right, it's more about developing a kind of internal richness,
Yeah.
a depth within your own perspective that might lead you to appreciate things that also resonate deeply with others, but that's almost a side effect.
It's about the layers inside you.
Exactly. The source even uses this analogy with our physical sense of taste. Like if you burn your tongue badly or get a really awful cold.
Ugh, yeah. Everything tastes like cardboard.
Precisely. Food loses its flavor, everything feels muted. It describes it as like a temporary phantom limb for your taste buds. You adapt, sure, but you definitely prefer the world with full flavor, right?
Definitely. That's a great analogy.
And it works for cultural taste too. The source talks about how taste, even way before our modern ideas of culture or currency, acted as a way to connect and also to distinguish groups.
So developing cultural taste, then, according to the source, it means cultivating an openness towards aesthetic experiences.
Yeah, exactly. Those moments that engage you differently than just like purely pragmatic concerns, work emails or figuring out directions.
Those times where you're not just processing info functionally, but you're really feeling something, processing beauty or meaning or something else.
hmm The source even hints these aesthetic encounters might relate to developing empathy, which is interesting.
Yeah, that is interesting.
And this openness, it's not about trying to fit into some highbrow or lowbrow box.
Yeah.
The source kind of reflects on how defining your own brow can feel really restrictive.
Right, like you're limiting yourself.
The real point seems to be cultivating a specific kind of appetite.
An appetite for depth? Is that it?
That seems to be the idea, an appetite for depth. The source uses examples like the shift someone might experience going from watching, say, Walker, Texas Ranger, to watching The Sopranos.
Okay, yeah, I can see that contrast.
Walker might satisfy an appetite for, I don't know, straightforward action. But The Sopranos, while it's also a crime show, it cultivates an appetite for complexity, right?
Nuanced characters, intricate dialogue.
Yeah, even a surprisingly sophisticated look at therapy, of
Yeah.
all things. It's got layers. The source contrasts this, maybe a bit unfairly it admits, with something like dogs playing poker art.
Ah, right. Effective on one level maybe, but lacking the layers you find in The Sopranos.
Exactly. And that appetite for depth, it gets fed by everything around you. It's not just formal education or museums.
No, the source lists a whole range of stuff, different music genres like rap and alternative,
Underground films, blockbusters,
the design on book covers, vinyl records, the ads you see, architecture.
even the outfits people wear. And of course, your family and friends have a huge impact.
It's that constant exposure to diverse perspectives and different forms of expression that builds those layers in your own subjectivity.
Yeah, it shapes how you see things.
So if good subjectivity is linked to this growing appetite for depth and complexity, the source suggests it takes conscious effort. It's not passive.
Right. It needs, and I think this is a direct quote, a certain amount of work and active curiosity.
Yeah.
You're actively building your own filters, your own unique lens through all these experiences,
So it's less about judging the external stuff.
and more about refining your internal capacity to engage with the world richly. Yeah.
Okay, so let's bring this back to you, the listener. Thinking about your own experiences, your own journey, does your taste feel kind of fixed and solid now? Like it's fully formed?
Or do you feel like it's still constantly changing, maybe shape-shifting, refining itself as you encounter new ideas, new art, new sources of depth out there?
Yeah. What appetite is your own subjectivity growing towards right now?
Yeah.
Something to think about.